What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. I'm Michigan Sports Talk here, and in this one, talk about how Michigan isn't done yet in the transfer portal as they're still looking for a defensive lineman to add. Plus, Semaj Morgan talks about the team's wide receiver quarterback situation, why the critics are wrong. Also, Donovan Edwards could potentially break a few Michigan records next season. We also got news on a 2025 running back who is set to make his decision Friday. We also got news on a top 100 cornerback. Michigan making the top 4 for a top offensive lineman target in the 2025 class. It's all going to be in this video and more, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Alright, so let's go ahead, start with the transfer portal. As Michigan, they have landed 4 defensive back additions from the transfer portal. They did that in just 3 days. It was a very good weekend for the Wolverines, but they aren't done yet adding depth and talent from the transfer portal. As Michigan, they continue to go after the defensive line position as they're looking to add more depth there, trying to just, add one more player. They previously went after the Kent State defensive lineman CJ West and also the Grand Valley State defensive lineman JVR Suggs. However, they both committed elsewhere. Now, another defensive lineman was the former Stephen F. Austin defensive lineman Brandon Lane. There are social media posts of him being a visitor. However, according to Sam Webb of the Michigan Insider, it appears Michigan, they aren't really moving on him, and he does already have a decision made, as he posted that on Twitter, or I guess I should say X. So Michigan most likely not getting Brandon Lane, as they appeared not to really move on him anyway. But one potential target is the Youngstown State defensive lineman Chris Fitzgerald, who recently committed to James Madison, but according to 24/7 Sports' Ellen True, he is a potential target. Now Michigan, they obviously flipped the UNLV cornerback Ricky Johnson. He was recently committed to Washington State and then flipped his commitment to Michigan. In Michigan, they already do have a former Youngstown State player out of the wide receiver CJ Charleston, but Chris Fitzgerald is 6 foot, 274 pounds, was a 3-year starter for Youngstown State, and last season he notched 36 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, and 3 sacks. In his career, he has 99 tackles, 15.5 tackles for loss, and 7 sacks. So we'll see where things go on that recruitment, but Michigan still is looking to add more talent from the transfer portal. Now we do have some recruiting news, including an update on a running back target for Michigan that is set to make his decision this Friday. I'm going to talk about that more at the end of this video though, so stay tuned for that. But Michigan wide receiver Semaj Morgan, he held a youth football camp at West Bloomfield High School on Saturday, and there were people there to talk about him and the Michigan football team this upcoming season. As according to Anthony Broom of On3 and the Wolverine, Morgan, he talked about the quarterbacks and the critics of the team's current wide receiver and quarterback situation. Morgan, he said, "I don't know what you're hearing. Nobody outside of Schembechler Hall knows anything anyway, so whatever you're hearing, it is what it is because we got some stars." He said, "I'm confident everybody in our room, in our quarterbacks, especially our quarterbacks, I'm confident in." He said, "When the season comes, you'll see, but I feel like we can follow any one of our quarterbacks into the fire." He said, "We're just growing together." And he did say, "I'm not trying to compare anybody to JJ, but he was a great leader last year, and we all knew that we could just follow him." He said, "So that's what we need out of the quarterback this year." They talk about the wide receiver room as well, including him and Frederick Moore. He said, "We've been doing literally everything together since we got here." He said, "I feel like me and Fred are going to be something special." Also talked about Tyler Morris. He said, "He stepped up big and is being a leader. He's the oldest guy in the room." Tyler Morris, he should have a big year this upcoming year, potentially the leading receiver and wide receiver 1 for Michigan. And Morgan, he said, "For my team, I feel like nobody can beat us. We're national champions. I feel like the challenge for my team right now is to not get complacent, not get comfortable, not get satisfied with what we did last year." That's what Semaj Morgan said about the whole team and the quarterback and wide receiver room. As the players, they hear the critics, people thinking this offense, isn't going to be anything next year. I'm sure that's just motivating these players, this team, even more. The next thing I did want to talk about is Donovan Edwards. He recently had an interview with 24/7 Sports, and he talked about how him, Kirk Campbell, utilizing him as a receiver this upcoming season. He said, you know what, that's a question for Kurt Campbell, but I'm about 89-ish yards away from breaking this Michigan receiving record for a running back. And he said, I'm coming for that record. He said, I know for a fact that Coach Campbell, he has that mindset to get the talented guys the ball and to get guys going as soon as possible. Or depending on how Michigan uses Donovan Edwards this season, he does have a couple or a few of program records that he could potentially break for a running back. There's the season receptions with 44 from Chris Perry. Edwards has 30 receptions in the 2023 season. Also could break the season receiving yards, which is 408, held by Gerald White. Edwards had 265 receiving yards in 2021. Could also definitely break the season receiving touchdowns, which is 4 by Gerald White. And then career receptions, 99 by Jamie Morris. Edwards currently has 68. And career receiving touchdowns, which is 7. Edwards has 3 career receiving touchdowns. Let me know in the comment section down below if you guys think Donovan Edwards will be able to break any of those records. Going to be one of the stars leading this Michigan offense next season. Should have a breakout year. But now I wanted to talk about some recruiting news, and the first thing on the 2025 4-star running back Iverson Howard from Quincy Orchard High School in the state of Maryland. Right now, mainly between Florida State, Maryland, and Michigan. Those are his official visits set, and it has been announced that he will be making his decision on Friday, May 24th at 2:45. It was previously thought that he would be making his decision after his 3 official visits, but now he will be making it even before a visit. Now Michigan, they were slated to officially get the first official visit from him first, which was on June 7th, and then Florida State and then Maryland the following weekends. Maryland is the hometown team. Michigan, though, they obviously, have ties to the state of Maryland and a pipeline to St. Francis Academy. That is where Blake Corum came from. Howard, he did say that Michigan, they produce a lot of great running backs. I saw what Blake Corum did there. Blake did his thing, and I feel like treat me as a running back just like they treated him. So Iverson Howard making his decision this Friday, which is a big decision. Michigan already lost out on Marquise Davis. Now they are still going after Jordan Davison, and also they have recently been in the mix for the 2025 4-star running back Todd Robinson, as Robinson is taking an official visit to Michigan on June 21st, but a big commitment date coming this Friday. And I also wanted to talk about the 2025 4-star cornerback and top 100 recruit Blake Woodby, as he recently just decommitted from Ohio State. He is ranked 66th nationally on 24/7 Sports composite rankings and is a St. Francis Academy product. Michigan, they were going after him before. According to A.J. Howland of the Wolverine, Woodby is open to all options, including Michigan, and also Ron Bellamy, the area recruiter, stopped by his school a few days ago. And new secondary coach Semaj Morgan has been in contact with him. And we'll keep it going on defensive backs and talk about the 2025 4-star safety Jaden Blair. Now, Jaden Blair is from Mount Tabor High School in the state of North Carolina. Now he has official visits. He's set to see South Carolina, Notre Dame, Michigan, Florida State, and Penn State. His Michigan official visit is June 14th, and he plans to make a decision after those visits. According to E.J. Howland of the Wolverine, he gives Michigan the slight edge in this recruitment. And new secondary coach Semaj Morgan has built a quick bond with Blair and is in contact with him a lot. And also he mentioned that he's looking for development, relationships, and academics for a future school. In Michigan, they check all the boxes off. And real quick here, the 2025 4-star offensive lineman Michael Carroll is down to 4 schools now, as he's down to Michigan, Penn State, Georgia, and Alabama. He does have official visits set to visit those schools in June. Michigan has been a contender in that recruitment. But with that, that's going to wrap up today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure you guys go ahead, drop a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more if you are new around here. I greatly appreciate it. But other than that, we will see you guys in the next video. Go Blue.